Hi folks, Rifle Chair here, and today we're going to talk to you a little bit about the Colt AR15A4. This little puppy right here. The Colt AR15A4 went into production circa 2013 and wasn't really available on the market until around 2014. That was right around the time, plus or minus a year, when Colt lost the contract to produce the M16A4 for the U.S. military. And the M16A4 is in use widely by the U.S. Marine Corps. This here is the civilian version called the AR15A4. Excuse me, I can't talk today. AR15A4, made at Colt, USA, Hartford, Connecticut. AR15A4, caliber 5.56 millimeter, and the serial numbers all seem to start with CAR, which I think is pretty cool. The barrel is a 20-inch barrel, 1-in-7 twist, right-hand twist. It is MP 5.56 NATO 17. Is that right? Can you read that? And it's got an A2 arrestor on there. A2 arrestor, just like what they do in the as issued. It is all Colt marked. See, you got the keyhole there and the C stamped. Full auto bolt carrier. Beautiful. Beautiful rifle. The front sight is well marked. Gas block, as you can see. Got the bayonet arrestor on there. This is not your Colt AR15A2. This is the AR15A4. And what a great gun. Sorry, rifle. It's a rifle. Anyhow, on this rifle I have the Trichicon TA31 RCO A4, which means that it's got the flash, the ARD on there, kill flash, and this particular scope is pretty much, how should we say, in Canada certainly, it is unobtainium. This this scope has the reticle, the BDC for this rifle, this barrel length and this twist. It was essentially manufactured for use in the M16A4. I've obviously built myself an M16A4 clone here. It's the forend here, as you see, has the R5 RAS, which is generally you would think it would be manufactured by Knights Armament. This one here is manufactured by P&S Products. You can see the right there. Okay, P&S Products. This here is P&S Products. P&S Products is interesting because it's not a clone. It's not an airsoft rail. It's actually manufactured for Knights Armament for the U.S. military, just simply to supplement for wartime needs. I mean, they needed more of them, and Knights Armament didn't have the facilities to meet the deadline. So, as I understand it, P&S Products was subcontracted to fill that order. And so this is it's not an airsoft rail; it's the real deal. Got some more pictures I'll feed in there of the rail when it was disassembled. I've got it on there. It has just a tiny amount, a little bit more weight. I don't think it shoots any differently whatsoever. But what a great system. You will cut yourself on these rails if you trying to carry the rifle like this without pads on there, unless you're wearing gloved hands. So you do need to be careful in that respect. You probably noticed the system I've got here on the TA31. That kind of acts like a peep sight, and a buddy of mine Lance showed me that he's a U.S. Army Reserve. Click right here if you want to see more of what I'm talking about. Lance goes into the description of why parallax is being an issue with the Trijicon sights. This really helps. It actually acts like a peep sight, which I love because I'm a Lee Enfield shooter, and having the sight set up like this, I'm so used to it, and I actually prefer it like this. But it helps. You know, you can get a fair amount of head wobble on this sight, and unless you actually get yourself aligned properly, you can get a fair amount of parallax. So that's the reason behind that. This rifle came with one PMag straight out of the box, and it also came with the M16A4 manual. Was it the M16A4 or was the M16A2? Anyway, I'll throw a picture in there. I'm not entirely sure which one it was. I kind of read it, but not really. It's pretty standard stuff. So anyway, I picked this up in 2014. I've been running it for 2 years now, and I did run into a little bit of a problem with some of the ammunition I was running into it. It was not magazine related, it was ammunition related. It wasn't the rifle. This rifle does not like Norinco or Chinese 55 grain 223. It does not like it. I think it's an ammunition problem. It's the only ammunition I've had a problem running through this rifle. And I've run probably about a half a dozen brands through it. All ran great. Doesn't like the cheap Norinco ammunition. Which surprised me because I was looking for a mil-spec rifle that would have tolerances that would be able to run any ammunition. Okay, so that was a big surprise for me. This is 100% mil-spec. You figured it would be able to run pretty much anything through it. Lots of rifles are running that Norinco 5.56 ammunition and not having any problems whatsoever. This rifle didn't like it. Oh, you got a failure to feed? So that was a bit of a problem for me, but otherwise what I have been running through it quite successfully is really Military Industries M855, which is a 62 grain green tip. Okay, I've been running that very successfully through this rifle. I'll put some footage in of me shooting that in different positions. I'm generally getting, so far as accuracy is concerned, is a 2.5 inch group, 10 round group at 100 meters. And that's in a supported position. Alright, this is a rack grade rifle. Right, this is not a free floated, souped up, dinked with, it's just blood and guts AR-15, and nothing particularly special about it. I will say that I'm really happy with the trigger pull on this rifle. It's a good 5 pounds, but at least it's nice and crisp. I did do the paracord trick of trying to polish up the trigger up just a little bit, got rid of a lot of the creep that came from the factory trigger, but I got no complaints whatsoever with the trigger on this rifle. It's great. I have no complaints whatsoever. Initial observations from turning the lowers apart and comparing them will reveal that there are some differences here. For example, let's look at the web. Okay, the Colt is on the top and the blue line is on the bottom. Right away you see the web that's been placed in here in the lower receiver on the Colt. That's different. The Rock River Arms lower parts kit is a lot different in that certainly the trigger is a lot worse. I believe the blue line lowers are made by Delask, and there have been some complaints, I think, so far as being out of spec. I don't know if that's still continuing. However, you know you don't have that concern when you buy a Colt. You'll also notice that the Colt has, it's all Colt marked. I have played with the bayonet lug on there. Of course, any AR, M16 C7 bayonet will fit on this rifle with no problems whatsoever. So let's roll in some footage of the rifle shooting. It's not terribly exciting, but it's something to look at. One thing I will say before we go on to that, though, is the internals, especially on the full auto bolt carrier. This is not a fully automatic rifle. It is a civilian variation of the M16, so it's an AR-15 semi-automatic only. But the staking on the bolt on this thing is incredible. I mean, it's really been punched hard. Those gas keys are not going to move on you, and yeah, hell for stout.
The Colt bolt carrier group is on top, and on the bottom we have the Wyndham weaponry, which has been shot a fair amount, so you can see there's a little bit of the finish has been removed. So far as the quality of the staking, the Colt is certainly a lot more impressed. The staking isn't going to move on top. The one on below is not going to move either, I don't think, but you know, they've certainly gone over and above here. It's not bad. Nowhere near as good as the Colt, though.
With the exception of not shooting that one ammunition lot, no problems with this rifle whatsoever. And I've got approximately 750 rounds through it. Interestingly enough, though, I have compared this to the Colt Canada Dimaco SA20, and the IUR, which is the integrated upper receiver made by Colt Canada. And I will tell you that the Colt Canada rifles just feel smoother, right? I mean, there's almost no sound when you pull the rack, when you rack the rifle. This one here, you can feel the physical resistance. There's a little bit more resistance when you rack it, but whatever. I mean, it's just a small thing, right? Just a small thing. But the Colt Canada rifles are really, really popular, obviously, here in Canada. The SA20 being the C7 variant, the SA15.7 being the C8 variant, and the IUR series, which is the integrated upper receiver, with a total of 5 different barrel lengths now, from 10 inches all the way up to 20-inch barrels, which can be obtained now. But I'm an old-fashioned blood and guts AR-15 kind of guy. I'm not a pro. Certainly you'll know when you see me shooting the rifle that I'm not a pro. Lots of you out there are going to be able to critique me. Go ahead, make comments on the video. You're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. However, I find it very, very humorous to observe that a lot of the U.S. Army guys are now adopting kind of the Canadian positions when it comes to, especially like the kneeling position, rather than having the sling wrapped right under your tricep and your hand is way out front. They're starting to adopt more of the Canadian style of shooting, and I got a kick out of watching that. I'm sure the U.S. guys are going to think, no, they invented it, but no, you didn't. It was Canadian soldiers that invented it. You can argue all you want. You know that you didn't invent it. We did. Anyhow, we'll throw some footage in there. Hope you enjoyed the video, folks, and as always, Maple Leaf up. So to start, we're going to start with prone, then we're going to do kneeling, and then standing. And there's going to be 2 rows of targets. All of the left-hand side targets are going to be shot with Israeli military industries, M855. This is the green tip. Okay, green tip ammunition, and the right side is going to be shot with 1995 era 5.56 by Chinese, and it is 55 grain bullet. And we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. Variation in point of impact, and I hope that we don't have any failures to feed with the Norinco ammunition. Seems to be a problem I'm having with it, but let's go. Let's try it out. Okay, so here's the Colt at 200 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is about an 8.5 inch spread. This is in the prone unsupported. I mean, I can kind of do that with the Lee Enfield. I can do the same with this. Or I was just shooting that CZ550 earlier today, and I was getting a better group, and it's only got open sights with a 14-inch right sight radius. So more work to do with the AR-15, but we're making progress. We're making progress. All M855. This is all Norinco, and not very good. Not good at all, in fact. This is standing. Sorry, this is prone, kneeling, and standing. One miss. Prone, kneeling. Where the hell did it go? Some of it down here. There's 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So who knows? Anyway, kneeling didn't really work out very well for the Norinco. I don't know why. It's all me. It's not going to be the rifle. Anyway, so there is one miss because there's only 4 rounds on this target and standing because we had the failure to feed. 1, 2, 3, 4 probably, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 was the kneeling. Don't get me wrong, I really love this rifle. I just need to learn how to shoot it better. I'm a bolt action guy, and but I will practice and I will get better. This is kind of one of the first times I've been out so far this year shooting the AR-15, and I always enjoy it, except trying to find your brass in the gravel. That's not so fun. And you know, quick insight to the AR-15A4, folks. It's a great shooting rifle. It just needs a better person driving it. I love it. Cheers, folks. Hope you're doing good, and as always, Maple Leaf up.